Today's inspiring mind is Gabrielle Orr. Let's get inspired. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Hi, Adam. Thank you for having me.
Yes, obviously we're going through a very tumultuous time in our history. Many people are feeling the effects of, I guess, the anxiety, the isolation from what they once knew. And I guess today we're here to maybe get some answers, maybe from the Akashic Records and some of your insight and your inspiring mind. So if you can share some information with us, and the audience would be very, very happy.
Okay. Yeah, Adam, I find that a lot of people are stressed, and which is understandable. If you sit since 52 or 53 days at home,
Yeah.
and you can only go out to buy groceries and maybe exercise, but every park is closed, the stores are closed, you're not allowed to show your face because you're asked to wear a mask to protect yourself or others. It's a very stressful thing because it's very new to us. And I think the word that hangs in the air is it's uncertain, where in which direction we are going and where this is going to lead us. But in every challenge, there's also an opportunity to grow and to remember what we already know. And I'm talking specifically now to your audience of already spiritually developed human beings, spiritually aware human beings. And this is what I would like to say. And I'm going to go really far back, about 52 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
Or even further. I was born in the late 60s to parents that grew up during the Second World War. They were born during the Second World War, 1940, 1941, and they grew up having every night having to go into a bomb shelter and having bombs flying on their head. And I remember my dad told me a story that he was in kindergarten or preschool, and the teacher gave them on Friday homework for Monday, and all the kids started to laugh because they thought it was funny that the teacher expected them to be still alive on Monday.
Wow.
So just to put this in a perspective on what stress and what pressure some people, grow up. So because of these circumstances, myself and my whole generation in Germany, I want to say, we grew up to think very critical, to not believe what a government says, to be aware of that change. It's usually, if it's dictated to you, it usually comes through fear, because that's when we are most susceptible to manipulation. So if it's really done well from intelligent beings, they're going to do it in a way where you want that change to happen. You think it's your own idea, but it's not really your own idea. And it happens in very small increments so that you can get used to it. And when you're used to it, then the next change or the next human right will be, taken away. I grew up like that. From my parents, I was raised like that. I got books to read, children's books, but they were always teaching things like that. Now, when I take that knowledge, that upbringing, and I look through this upbringing at what we are experiencing today, then I would say I've been prepared to question things that are happening today. As a human being, I question things. I listen to the conspiracy theories, or whatever is out there. But here is what I want to say to our viewers. Yes, get educated. Learn how to think for yourself, make up your own opinion, but don't get sucked into one opinion or the other opinion, because if you get sucked into it, it's either way, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an opportunity for us to remember that we are co-creators of our own reality. And what we focus on, we will create one way or the other way. And what we fear, we will create. So this whole situation is really where we will go best through this situation and come best out of it if we stay focused on what feels good to us, what creates peace within us, what creates inner stillness. So the awareness level, that is the most important thing right now. But you can only do that also, you need to be educated. You need to look at both sides, you know, what is really going on. I say, like, on the public TV news, okay?
Yeah.
What are they telling us? What are they advising us? And then what are other people are saying or warning us from? But then make up your own opinion. Don't get sucked into it. I'm getting so many messages on Facebook with email, with videos about conspiracies and this and that, and I get other messages of how to protect yourself from the virus. But all of this is a huge stress factor. And you know what stress creates? A very weak immune system.
Right.
And that's what we want to avoid here. If we can really strengthen our immune system, that means stay calm. I mean, it's boring, sorry, but meditate,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
eat healthy, go into the sun, get your vitamin D, exercise. And when you educate yourself, then look at what do I like, what do I not like, how can I create what I like, and envision it, think
Yeah.
about it, feel it. That is right now the best advice that I can give anyone who's concerned about the COVID-19, or the other side where people say it's not true, it's made up. Um, you know, like, we are being here fooled, and we are losing human rights right and left. So I say either one might be right, but find your own way on how to deal with it. And the best thing is to stay calm and to deal with what is right in front of you.
I think people are afraid to let go of the fear. They use it as a buffer for their fear.
Yes. And it is scary when you turn the TV on and you watch the news. I mean, at one point you got to watch the news
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you don't want to miss that they let you out again. But see, if you, what we do, for example, we have the tone off and we just read the subtitles. This is feels totally different than if you hear the dramatic voices. And I mean, honestly, I'm so disappointed by any of the news channels, any of them, because
I know.
the way they are handling I mean, they do it all the time, but now you can just see how they manipulate information right and left.
Well,
And it's sad.
yeah.
It's so unnecessary. I feel like a news channel is like being married. If you're with a partner and that partner constantly lies to you or only tells you one side of the story, then why being with that person? Why trusting them? And that's, I feel about that with the news.
Yeah, I think people are bought into the system of actually checking the news to check their emotional state.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Wow, that's extreme.
if
Yes.
you don't
Yeah.
if you don't feel anything, how will you know what you feel unless you experience or test yourself with the news and to see how you're going to respond? So it's almost like a wake-up call to stimulate your emotional state.
Yes. I mean, if I turn the news on, I just feel like I'm always on high alert and the
Yeah.
adrenaline goes up. And I think that's what people get used to and addicted to, constantly having this adrenaline going through you. You know,
Yeah.
that's why you drink coffee or need caffeine or these power drinks or whatever.
Stimulant.
Yeah, exactly. You constantly need to have that. And what happens when you constantly have your adrenaline glands pumping,
Yeah.
you know, you get a burnout
Yes.
and you can't, you're like a puppet. You can't do anything anymore. You're weak. So I think this is it could be a dangerous time for all of us, but I really feel that it is a great opportunity for people to create a life that works better for them than before.
Okay, so what's your insight into somebody creating that better life? How could they go about doing that? What type of answers do you
Yeah,
get?
I mean, this is, of course, not easy to, it's such a personal
I
decision,
understand.
depending also on where they are. If someone lost their job and can't pay their bills,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, my heart goes out for them, you
Well,
know.
all things being equal, if a person has their income and has their employment, obviously the person has the opportunity to work more on in their inside world, their internal world.
Well,
Um,
let me tell you what I did. Okay, so
yeah.
obviously all my trips to Europe, everything got canceled. Um, which, if you look at it like from the outside, it's a huge loss of income,
Yes.
you know. But I always taught online, and now I'm just teaching more online. And luckily, thankfully, they are sold out. So I feel blessed in that way. But still, from the financial perspective, a loss of income. But then what I did, I reevaluated. I'm like, okay, what do you really want? What do you really need to be happy? Okay,
Yes.
that's the key. It's, I think, human nature to always want more and growth and expansion, but expansion can also, it can be tricky. You can reduce and get smaller and still expand. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's just a different level of expansion. Expansion doesn't mean bigger, bigger, bigger.
Right.
I feel like I'm expanding by reducing. Um, I was always extremely environmentally friendly as much as I thought I could. And a lot of things have even improved there. Like, we really looked like, wow, what can we still do better for the environment? You know, like the way we live.
Right.
We changed that. It was really, I mean, I live on a mountain, on the top of a mountain. So it's a little bit different here where we live. For example, our power company sent out emails to us asking us, giving us instructions how to use the washer and the dryer and the dishwasher, because they wanted to conserve energy.
Wow.
Because their concern was that if everybody's at home now and starts running the machines, the whole system is gonna, you know, fall apart.
Right.
So we were asked to do laundry and everything between specific hours. So not everybody would turn it on at the same time. And I thought, that's a cool system.
Right.
If you can save energy like that, why not always doing it like this? Um, so the other thing I did is I focused from what what do I do work wise, meaning you know, I have my seminars, I have a book project, I have a card project. So my life was more like what project do I finish now or so. Right now, I stopped the projects and I'm looking at where can I serve. So either with my passion for the Akashic Records and messages that are coming through, but also in my own community. Where can I serve? Like, I had no idea. I really didn't know, and I apologize for that. That children, if they don't go to school and get a meal there, that they might not get any food for the rest of the day. I did not know that. I mean, when I heard that, I I lost it. I couldn't believe that in a country like ours,
Right.
um, that is even possible. My heart broke if when I heard that. So I'm trying to serve there as much as I can. Um, and then a lot of conversations with people who are really they are in a desperate emotional state of
Yeah.
being,
Yeah.
and it's a lot. I mean, and it goes so far that people feel like they can't breathe.
Well,
They have
I know,
problems.
I know from my perspective, and I think that when one focuses on an issue or problem that one has a difficult time dealing with, the usual way of handling it is running,
Oh,
physically taking off, indulging maybe in sweets or whatever it may be. I mean, one can still indulge in the sweets and the foods if they choose to, but the need to run. And now that's been taken away from a lot of people and forced people to somehow deal with their issues. I've seen it in family, I've seen it in friends, and I've seen people like making changes in their viewpoints on specific topics, which I never knew about. I never knew what they felt, but now they're grasping onto the concept, I think, of dealing with things, or trying to
yeah.
at least, and it's hard.
I think you're addressing the real issue here, Adam. I mean, yes, there is a pandemic in our society right now, not just,
Yes.
in our region, but worldwide. We don't know which direction it will go, how long it will take. Um, Without wanting to be dark or anything, I don't think this is the last problem we're gonna see on a global level.
Right.
Now we really, really have pushed everything to an extreme, and we've been warned for the consequences for many years. And the environment is now coming to a level where we will see extreme weathers, no
Yes.
droughts, floods, everything like that. So it will create extreme circumstances and new breeding ground for viruses, for example, or anything else. So I think we will see different things on that level in the future. um, Not just regional, but like even worldwide.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, everybody has to carry their own little package too. We all have our emotional issues, abandonment issues, fears, anxieties. And we are now really put right away in connection with that because we cannot distract ourselves as usually.
It's funny because I could turn this to exactly to my specific issue as a child, which was I had the opportunity to leave the house, but when there was tension in the house, I was afraid to leave the base,
Oh,
because leaving the base
you
made me
felt
feel
safe.
I felt safe like that. And
Yes.
now I'm fighting the desire to actually go out of the house, but also stay.
Mm-hmm.
And this has brought that particular conflict to a head, and I feel it. And I felt anxiety, and I felt depressed, and I felt all of the gamut of emotions that focus on that particular issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt it too. And I felt like this overwhelming sense of, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Because I think one of the human natures, we would like to know that we are safe.
Right.
like, which is an illusion anyways. Anything can happen at any time, whether you have a 10-year job or whatever, you know.
Right, right, right.
Nothing is totally, in that sense, it gives us an illusion of safety, and that is not there right now. So that, you know, I mean, when I have issues like that, I go in the Akashic Records.
That's what I was going to ask you.
And yeah,
Right.
and I ask, okay, how I feel this and this, what can I do now? I used to ask, what do I need to know or do to resolve it? Now I'm asking, what do I need to know or feel and do?
You've added
That's
another
it.
component.
Yeah, a new one, because I thought, like, okay, I feel this. How can I change this feeling? What can I do to feel better? And I'm getting wonderful information. I mean, loving, not just for myself, for all of us. It's like, this shall pass too. You know, we're not, it looks really bad, but we don't have to act like it's the end of the world. There will be joy for us again, and connection, and it will change, but it's not as bad as it looks right now. In German we have a saying, it's like, if I translate it, I would say, you never eat the soup as hot as it's cooked on the stove.
Das habe
You
ich
know,
gehört.
ja, die Suppe wird nicht so heiß gegessen, wie sie gekocht wird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I forgot that you speak German. That's right. But yeah, so we do that, and that's really true. You, like, our mind creates these pictures of, you know, extremes very easily. And for some reason, we tend to go into the negative rather than the positive. And this is this is where you can turn your story around. When you notice that you feel unease, you have to ask, what can I do, think, or feel right now to change this, to not go down the spiral and get darker and heavier and sadder or depressed? What can I do now to feel better? And this might be that you make yourself a good cup of tea and just sit down and enjoy it. Or it could be that you really have to call someone and say, hey, let's talk a little bit. I'm really feeling down. Maybe we can, you know, turn this around.
Right, right.
Or, well, I said I go in the Akashic Records, or I focus on my breath. This is a nice thing I kind of discovered in combination with Gaia TV. You know, I think you're a member of Gaia TV too.
Yes, yes.
And they are sending now a lot of information out. You know, I mean, they always did it, but now more, because I guess they want to really help people to stay inspired too. And there was one show, it was like, you know, these different clips from all these speakers, and it was about breathing, breath. And this one woman, I liked the way she showed it. She's like, and we all know how to breathe, but you inhale, and she says, when you breathe shallow, so when you look at someone and you see that they breathe only into their chest, that means to the body, this is so interesting, it means to the body that you are stressed. And when your body feels stressed, it takes sugar, glucose, and burns it, not fat. So if you're constantly in the state of stress, you always need to have sugar in your life.
Right, right, right.
And then that's why a lot of people overeat now, especially on the sweets, because it's a sign of stress, whether they're aware of it or not. And when your body burns only the glucose, then you gain fat, you get bigger.
Right, right.
You know, so, but if you breathe into your belly, like really into your pelvis, and you extend your belly out, and then you make sure your exhale, you pull your belly in, and your exhale is a little bit longer than your inhale.
Right.
That indicates to your body, I'm safe, I'm relaxed, everything is okay. And you will notice that you also burning, your metabolism changes, you're burning more fat, and that means you don't have maybe these cravings for stimulants so much. And I really liked that, and I tried it right away. And then the Akashic Records said to me, do the following. So I inhale the way I just described, deep
Right.
into my belly. And when I exhale, I blow it out through my mouth, like, and it's as if I say a wish when I exhale. So, for example, I inhale peace and relaxation into my belly, all the way deep into my belly. And then I hold it and I exhale and I say, I want, and then you say what you want in your mind.
Is that
Like,
one time or
no, I
repetitive?
do it. I do it for a while. I have on my phone, I have a timer, like a meditation timer,
Right.
and I usually do it for 16 minutes.
Of breathing.
Yes, of breathing.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That
I even,
the exhalation, like as you said, it sets off the parasympathetic nervous system to create peace and relaxation, which is also good.
yeah,
Which
because
is
when you breathe deeply like this, you are not in the fight or flight mode.
right.
When you want to run away from a bear or a lion, you don't breathe deeply into your belly. You can't activate these muscles
Right.
or
Right.
relax them in order to run away. But when you are in stress, you breathe shallow. Like,
Right.
so you get a lot of oxygen in very quickly, and the oxygen goes to your legs and to your arms because you're supposed to run away or fight. So, and that's how you can give on purpose your body the signal, no, now it's time for you to relax. You override your thoughts, so to say.
Right. With I'm thinking about what you said about community. I mean, you deal with the Akashic records for many of your personal insights and for other people, giving them answers into major questions and different chapters of their life. And as we know, as we spoke at the very beginning, this is a new chapter and maybe a new beginning. But is there a more profound message from the Akashic records that you received? Uh, I know it's about love and about community. Is there
in
anything?
in regard to this time,
Yes, in regards to this time.
I'm gonna ask now because it seems to change for every person who asks or for every situation. Okay. Okay. Have you ever read or heard from people if they have been diagnosed with cancer and then years later they say it was the best thing that ever happened to me?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah, I have too. And I actually know people,
Right.
who said, wow, my life was really going in the wrong direction. And if I would not have had the cancer, I would not have taken the time to change my life. And they're saying it's basically the same thing now. This is a great opportunity to get over things and change things and not just survive, but thrive.
Right.
Or you're gonna die with the whole thing. And I don't mean literally die in disease, and I don't mean that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, or
Soul.
yeah, your soul, exactly, your soul being dies. You just get sucked into it, you get angry, and you probably, if you don't catch COVID-19, you create other diseases like diabetes or anything stress related.
Right, right.
So they're showing it to me like that. This is a calling, an opportunity. I'm looking for different words. A miracle, because it for many, many people, it really guides you into a better way of life. I have to say, I'm when you watch these TV shows now, you know, the um I watch more the day. I trying to explain it without naming some people, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
and they doing it now on Zoom or so, live, you know, or I'm very disappointed because they have such a huge platform and there are people listening to them, and what the stuff that they are talking about, like, it's sad. I think
Such as, give us some
for
examples.
example, everything is like, how many drinks did you have already today? Like, you know, at 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon, that's what they're telling people. Like, okay, it's okay for you to do vodka now or whatever. I don't understand why they cannot come up with something better to entertain people than asking how many drinks did you have already, or, oh, have you taken a shower? I mean, that's real primitive.
Yes,
I
yes.
think it's primitive that you get paid millions of dollars to convey that to a public audience, you know, and children are watching. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, maybe this particular situation is breaking down their facade as well.
Maybe, yes. I said to my husband, it's interesting how much nonsense comes out of their mouths if they don't have anyone talking to into their ear telling them what to do next.
Right,
I
right.
mean, it was really, I was like, wow, that is sad for them. I'm sad for them, but I'm also, I think it's sad that so many people are watching it and, you know, taking these people as role models. They can do better. I'm telling
Yeah.
people who are listening to this, you can do so much better. If you want to have a glass of wine, enjoy it, but don't let other people who are famous tell you have another vodka or anything like that. That doesn't resolve anything.
Well, I think many people, well, specifically speaking about the people you're talking about, which I don't know the types, the names of the people, but I would think that they're playing to the audience's appeal as opposed to generating an idea or thought that could bring people from where they are to a higher level of consciousness.
I thought that too, but then, you know, before COVID-19, they didn't talk like that.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
know,
then that's what
because
I
it's,
mean.
yeah, so I was like, wow, I mean, you're a role model, you know, you want to inspire people to do better, to be kinder, to grow, and she tries that too, but I'm really shocked that that's what they think is funny. Like, how many showers have you had in the last 2 weeks and how many drinks did you have? I mean,
I understand. It's funny. I also recognize the fact that this particular situation has brought people. I think you see people for their true colors, irregardless if a person is famous or not. It's almost squeezed people to the place of who they really are with no fluff.
I agree. And on the other side, on the good side, I feel like it brings a lot of people out you really didn't recognize before.
Correct. But
You know, like,
how will people relate because a lot of hostility and aggressiveness has been taking place due to people's varying opinions.
yeah, you
And
know, it's actually, I feel like it's like this. We are all sitting in the same movie theater. We are watching the same movie, but somehow everybody's seeing something else.
that's true. Well,
You know, like, and how do we talk about the same movie if we all experiencing and seeing something else?
well, yeah, I know. I think the people that are gripping to what they once knew or still know without trying to let go are the ones trying to convince the other people to get back on and hold on tight.
Yes,
I think
yes.
there's fewer people who've released themselves from that bond of fear, and they're looked upon as different or crazy because they're not exhibiting the same amount of fear as the
Yeah.
ones who are still holding on. So it's just Yeah, I see it amongst people I know. If you question something that they know for a long period of time, as you mentioned earlier, when you were in Germany after the war, and people were probably in a fixed state of mind, the older generation,
Yeah.
and
But
questioning.
I think, Adam, I think in that way, I trust the universe that you attract what you're searching for, what's good for you. Like, I give you one example. Usually, if I post a video on YouTube, I get between 4,000 and 15,000, or sometimes 25,000 viewers. Okay. So 9 weeks ago, just in the beginning of the coronavirus, I started an online seminar. And in the second week of after the second meeting, these were people who just learning how to access the Akashic Records. So in the second meeting, they just learned how to read the records for themselves, and they were all concerned and worried. I said at the end, would you like to ask questions in the Akashic Records with me? And they all said yes. Was 100 people on the call. So we extended the Zoom session, and we didn't even know the questions we wanted to ask.
Right.
And I recorded everything on video. Okay. So we discussed the questions first, and then we all opened up our own Akashic Records, and we asked these questions, and then we compared the answers. And it was remarkable how from so many people the answers are matching or supporting each other, so it wasn't like one got yes and the other one got no. All the answers went into the same direction, and then of course with an individual flair.
Right.
But the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I posted this on YouTube, and it has over 110,000 views.
Oh, wow.
So within 2 weeks, it was already on that number. It went, and that showed me that there is a need for really good content information, like that, and people are looking for that. And if not, then the universe will carry it to them, either through a friend or a pop-up or anything like that. So I trust in that. I
Yeah.
think if people are really interested in changing, or if something inside of them is ready, the teacher will appear.
But also, like you, for example, coming out of a place of genuineness, being genuine, also you receive that. you you've built yourself into a position of being able to receive those answers out of a genuine place, and going in the same direction and trying to build and grow and help other people has also been, very, very positive. And
Yes, but Adam, I mean, I'm doing this now for a really long time, and I always, let's say like this, my line of work you don't get into to get rich.
right.
There are easier ways to get financially rich. So for me, it is a way of life. It's like, this is my essence. Yes, I could do other things. I have done other things to put bread on the table, but I did it before it was financially lucrative. I'm doing it now, and I will continue to do it, whatever will happen. So it is a way of life. Um, and then I hope that people will benefit from it, but I would never talk anyone into or push someone into that direction. I have loved ones who are accepting of it, but they don't do it, and that is fine with me, because they
Right.
have a different journey for their soul. So who am I to say your soul is ready for this or you have to do that? And right now, I think souls are more ready to grow, souls are more ready to take this opportunity and say, okay, on the human level, I'm stuck. Let me see what I can do on the soul level. How can I expand my wings on the soul level if I can't soar right now on the human level? And I think it will have really beneficial, they will reap very well. If the soul grows, the human experience will grow too. And
Right.
it's much easier like that than the other way around.
Well, that's what I was saying before about you. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Your,
So,
your soul is genuine, so it gives a genuine message, and from there things come naturally, and people receive that information naturally.
yes. I mean, you and I, we know each other for a long time. Like when I worked with you, you were the only student I
Yeah,
had. Remember, it was one-on-one back
right.
then. I mean, now there are 100 people. And so
Amazing.
something is opening up, you know. And actually, I like to say there are 100 souls rather than people, because something has already before the virus changed. But I think now people are forced to make the changes permanent. They cannot learn something new and then go back to the old, because the society won't let them anymore.
What do you think the greatest leap forward will be?
I think appreciation for the things that are really meaningful, like relationships, like peace of mind, like, and I don't say this lightly, but I think food on the table.
I was going to say that as well.
You
Yeah,
know, like to
gardening.
have to just have the essentials and do not take it for granted. Like it's not this, the things that were so important before. I hope that they move into a different perspective, and even if you do have enough money and food on the table, that you appreciate it more just because you know others don't, like your neighbors maybe have a tough time or something like that. It is a different situation.
It's funny, you go through different phases. I remember at the very beginning, the first few weeks of this, I remember my grandmother who came out of the war, and she used to say, don't throw that bread away. Don't throw this away. Don't throw that away. And I didn't understand what she meant. I couldn't grasp it. It wasn't tactile for me. It didn't have any meaning for me. So I just went along with it. When I went home, I put the bread in my pocket and I threw it in the garbage can. It
Yeah.
was, I didn't want to embarrass her and her experience. I didn't understand the experience. But the first few weeks, I felt like, oh my God, the stores are packed. Will I be able to get bread? Who wants to
Mm-hmm.
wait on this line for bread? Is it safe to walk in this area? And I valued that piece of bread that I had on the table. I ate it all, just thinking that maybe, who knows, next week do I got to go shopping again? And it's interesting how life brings you to the same cycle, I think, to light, the earth or the universe gives us those lessons in order to bring us to a place of appreciation. So I think the level of technology that we've come to, the only way we would learn is through a great sense of, so to speak, technology that could harm us.
There's another thing that I really liked. I think that we will appreciate more is the human connections. I was watching something about from Greg Braden,
Yes.
who's really famous and well known. It was an older show, like many years old, and he was talking about man, what is it called? The human design, I think it's called. It's so I was listening to him, and all of a sudden he mentioned that he has friends who have worked with people who have experiences with ETs. So with and I was like, it's nothing new for me. I've had clients, you know, who talk to me about alien abductions and anything like that. And I remember the very first client I had, I thought, this guy's nuts. Like, because I had no experience with it. I didn't know what
Yeah.
it meant and all the things he was telling me. And I'm like, okay. what do I do with this information? How do I answer this? The Akashic Records were answering, but I had no clue what he was talking about or them. And then I asked them, and they were laughing. They said, you think you know everything, but you know nothing.
Mm.
You know, you don't have to know everything, just trust. And then a few years later, someone else came, and it was a woman. She was asking the same questions or telling me the same story as this man before. And that's when I paid attention. I thought, wait a moment. That's weird, you know? So I did a little bit more of research about aliens and everything, and I thought it was really interesting. So Greg Braden was talking about the same thing.
Okay.
And he said, the one thing all of these stories have in common is that the aliens are coming to study humans to understand our emotions and our human connections, because the alien technology is highly developed, but they don't have the empathy
Right.
and the human connection, and they want to know what this is about. So this is what we have is very special
It's
as
interesting. It's interesting.
as human beings.
Yeah.
And this is our developing technology. We are a little bit losing this human connection because we connect on 2-dimensional level more than on a 3-dimensional level. We are maybe together 3-dimensionally, but we don't even look at each other. We look at a TV screen at a flat surface, you know, instead of interacting with each other. And I think that's another thing that, you know, to answer your question was a long answer, sorry.
No.
But like that will change when we can connect again. We will appreciate human connections more. We
Yeah.
probably do already now.
Yeah. Well, it pushes people's relationships to the place of either closeness,
Yes.
surrender, or to
Yes.
really see things for what they are
Yeah.
without escaping anything. So, but the greatest challenge, I think, is the need to sit with oneself,
Yes,
because
that
I
too.
find that's the hardest part. And as I said, for myself, and I know I'm sure there's other people who find that when they have issues that they've never dealt with, and now they have to sit with them and not run, and it's
Adam, basically we are all on a 52 or 53-day long silent retreat or
it's true.
meditation retreat.
I'm trying to grow, but I'm getting on people's nerves. It's,
I mean, with some interruptions of watching TV or whatever, you
true. It's
know,
true.
but it's like an enforced meditation retreat.
It is. It is. It's definitely a forced meditation retreat. That's true. And also bonding with the dog a little bit, and the dog saying, "What are you doing home so much?"
My dog loves it.
No, I know. It's the same here.
Oh my God. Yes.
You know, it's funny you said you spoke about the ETs and extraterrestrials. I was listening to a person named Ishra, who is Ishra's the organization. I forgot the name. He was one of the Indian philosophers, and he spoke about when he was a child in India, he came across an extraterrestrial while he was walking along a railroad track.
Uh-huh.
And he went home, and his parents said to him, "That was nothing. You probably saw the train that was going by, and it went by quick." And he said, "No, I saw something." And they said, "What did you see?" He said, "This man stuck his head out and said, 'You have emotions
Mm.
and we have technology.'" And when he went to a conference, like 30 years later, he met a farmer who just happened to speak to him about, you know, extraterrestrials, and said, "You know, when I was younger," they were discussing the topic. He goes, "They told me that you have what we're missing."
Yes.
And so it's very interesting that, as you said before, when we're losing the connection, gaining the technology, but I guess moving further away from our true purpose.
Yeah. Well,
So,
we are we
how do we bring that back? How are we going to bring? Is it this time necessary for us to bring it back? or
I would
future
I would
events?
say I don't know. I can only talk for myself
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
okay, then what do you
I
think?
mean, I want it back. I want to be able to sit with a girlfriend in a cafe again and, do people watching and talk about things and about a book we read. Or I want that human connection back again. I find the other things are not satisfying. Like, I like to watch the TV show The Voice because we like music in our household, and it's entertaining and fun and easy. But now, I mean, yes, it's anyways on TV, but now they are all in their own home and video recording this singing.
I know.
There's no energy for me in there. It's like, I,
But if there, I'm just thinking while you're saying it, if there's an agenda that goes beyond what we know
yes.
in terms of a person choosing to raise their level of consciousness, thinking positive, communicating with the Akashic Records and getting answers. But the majority of people are not looking to raise their level of consciousness, just to so to speak. Um, it does become depressing seeing the people just being fixated in this world or that place. And so, not asking you for a general answer, specifically, what can one person do? They can only take care of themselves, but they're not going to be able to if certain laws or certain things are put in place that isolate people from one another.
Yeah.
How will people then on this plane be able to overcome something that, while we think can be fixed in a spiritual form? How are we going to bring the spiritual form down to the earthly plane to make
I think
change?
I think one example would be what the two of us are doing right now.
Okay.
To whether you can see each other on Zoom or Skype or just via calling someone, but to sit down and have an honest and deep and meaningful conversation, whatever is meaningful to you.
Right.
And here I think is the point, without doing something else, not multitasking, not diverting your energy, but being present when you communicate with someone. Because I feel emotions now from you, and I'm sure they come across for an audience too. So I think when you are present and focused, your emotions come through even through this channel, of communication.
Right.
So that would be for me the next best thing, to have an honest, meaningful conversation without multitasking. Um, I mean, all the other things, Adam, we got to figure out as it goes on.
Yeah, I understand.
Like we like now in North Carolina where I live, I think from tonight on, the stores are going to open up again, or many stores. So we are allowed to go out. We advised to wear a face mask. I didn't wear one for a long time. And then I went to a grocery store and there was like a painting from a child, and it says, "Thank you for wearing a face mask so my daddy who works here can stay healthy." And I understand the employees, so I'm wearing it for them, that they can feel safer, out of respect. Because I mean, come on, we have to be so damn grateful
Yeah.
for people to go to work and serve us in that way, that we can eat, and I mean, I was always grateful in a grocery store, but now I'm for sure, it feels emotional to me
Yeah.
when I'm standing in the register paying and I see these people there working, so we can have a decent life. That is extremely valuable. So I feel emotions like that. Just find a way to express your emotions to another human being or to the universe. You know, if tears are coming, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, they're tears of gratitude and of just like, wow, thank you, you know.
Yeah, you know what? I did feel that particular emotion at the very beginning when I opened up my Akashic records. I felt the connection of everything will be fine and it'll
Yes,
pass.
yes,
I haven't gone into the records recently. I've kind of fell into the trap of not what everybody else is doing, but more so the feeling of what's next, what will happen after this. And I
yeah.
haven't the times I feel that I stay in the moment and I sit with it rather than escape it. I'm more at peace.
That's beautiful. I mean, everybody should have their own, you know, method or their own um, level of staying in center, in balance. I have in my book, Let Miracles Happen, at the end, there is something, I think it's called relief folder. And we really need this all the time. Let me see if I can explain the purpose of the relief folder to you, okay?
Yep.
So we all have injuries. Um, most of them are not visible, maybe not even to ourselves, you know, but they are still there and they are determining in which way our life goes, because on a subconscious level, we are making our decisions and choices based on injuries that we maybe don't address. I give it to you in a different way. If a child has an accident and loses one arm, and can still have a wonderful life. It just will learn how to do everything with one hand, with one arm. You know, it will learn different techniques. Maybe it puts lotion on the injury so it doesn't get infected. It will get the other arm stronger and develop tools to open cans or anything like that. Okay. Now that's visible. And whatever that person with the injury has, they have to pay attention to it all the time.
Right.
Otherwise, it won't work. Now, we all have these injuries, but most of them are invisible on the soul level. And if we don't do things all the time in order to stay healthy and well, then you know we get lazy and we don't want to do things, and then we only do something when it's in a desperate time, when it's almost too late, when we are too weak and too disoriented to come back on track. So everybody should have a relief folder. Everybody should collect things that inspire them, that help them to stay in an energy frequency that feels good to them, so they don't go down the rabbit hole. That is Akashic Records for me, meditation, sitting still for someone else. It is also for me, I collect little YouTube clips that inspire me or that
Right.
help me, you know, or music, or clips, you know, pages from books or anything like that, where you like the moment you read it, you like, okay, don't go that way, go the other way.
Right.
Okay, don't get negative now. You're stronger than that. You can do better than that. Go the other way. And we should take every day 10 minutes to play with them, because this way our stump, our lost limb, will never become a problem. But we usually don't do that. We only come back to when we are cornered, when we are desperate,
Right.
when we are in pain. And that's not a good way to live. Now, that child that lost the arm knows that. They have to do it every day. And we just have to learn that our injuries are deserving the special attention as much as if we would have a physical problem. And I think if we can find, if people would just take now time to create a relief folder or first aid package for them, like for their soul,
Yes.
I bet you their mood would change. And they wouldn't, or another ways to explain it. Do you know that movie? It's with Drew Barrymore. It's called 51st Dates.
Yes. 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 I saw
It's
that.
a sweet, silly Hollywood comedy, but the story behind it is really cool. She has an accident and she loses her short-term memory.
Right.
Everything that happened yesterday, she doesn't remember. So she falls in love, she gets married, but what does the husband do? She doesn't remember in the morning who he is.
Right.
So there's a video, a VCR, an old one, and there's a
Yeah.
note and it says, watch this before you get up. And then it tells her all the things she experienced and that they have a daughter and so on. So she's up to date. And we should really do that too. We should wake up every morning and there should be a 5-minute tape running. And it's like, you have learned that you're not lonely and that you are not this and that, and that you have, you know how to meditate. And because we forget and we get comfortable and, let's say, lazy
Yeah. Yeah.
when we feel good, and we just want comfort all the time. And sometimes our ego doesn't want us to get better. And it says, come on, sit down on the couch and watch a movie. Come on, Netflix has this new show out. Don't meditate. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I think the as we've been speaking, I think the external has forced us to go internal, and
yes.
we're not comfortable in our own skin. A lot of us.
And not only that, we don't know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
It's like someone put us on a sailboat and say, okay, now go. And you come into a storm and you have no idea how to brace yourself and what to do with your emotions and your mind.
Yeah. This is new territory.
Yes, you don't know which line pulls up which sail. You don't know what to do to get your energy up or to calm yourself down. And this is a good opportunity to learn. Okay, what do I need to calm down? What do I need to get my energy a little bit up? What
Yeah.
inspires me? What scares me?
Oh, I definitely have felt it. Actually, I spoke to you earlier. I'll be retiring at the end of this year. So
Yes,
I so I now so
congratulations.
I now know what retirement feels like.
Adam.
Oh my God. And I was sharing it with my girlfriend. I said to her, it's not the fact that I'm retiring, it's the fact that when everybody goes back, this extended feeling of feeling this isolation will continue because there's not a break in the action. And
Well,
this is
who am I without my work, for example,
yes,
like
yes,
not just work wise, but like you are a person, you have a specific, like aura as this person. I mean, we have all different personalities. There's the
yeah, yeah.
teacher, there's the partner, only the friend, So all of a sudden, this part of you kind of dies away. So what can you do to substitute it, to make it even better, maybe?
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's what this is about.
Yes.
Not rolling the dice. I'm rolling the dice, climbing the walls, um, and everything,
And drowning in the middle of it.
drowning in a 3 foot tub, and a
Oh,
3 inch tub, and no,
yeah.
basically, yeah. But it's insightful to know the actually when the weather is nice, it's obviously pleasant, which gives everybody opportunity, I think, to also get in touch with nature. I think that's a big component where I see people riding bicycles and walking in the park, and it's beautiful to see. Actually, the air is cleaner, the
Yes.
environment is cleared out. I'm so grateful because I am so annoyed at the pollution and the disgust that people just pollute and have no regard for the earth. And
Yes.
It's our foundation, and I feel very strongly that we need to respect this place of where we live and where we stand and what we inhabit.
Yes. Yes. And yes, and we need to find different words for earth and nature, words that hit more home, like your living environment. I'm still looking for words so people really understand
Mm.
what we do to nature and to Mother Earth matters to us.
Yes, yes.
It's like our survival depends on that. The earth will survive after us. Once
Uh,
we are gone, it will thrive even more. But
right.
we need Mother Earth to be clean and everything.
Right? You look at a person's boundary. The boundary of what a person knows is just their four walls, and then the extension of their house, their garden, and
Yes.
then they think that's it. They can throw garbage over their fence. They can pollute.
It's, oh my God, Adam, don't get me started. I mean, I live in the Smoky Mountains and I go hiking every day with my dog. And I'm surprised I see all of a sudden a beer can in the middle of the woods. I'm like, how does this get here? How does someone hike
Yes.
here 5 miles and then, without thinking about it, drops the can and that's it? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
get it. So I have a plastic bag in my backpack and I take the trash home if I can. I mean, it's got, thank God, not this much, but still, I don't understand how people, I guess there is no thought.
no, it's
It's just like what's important right now, So it's sad. But on the other hand, now that everything is so closed, the parks are closed and everything, I've lived here a few years now. I've never seen a fox. I've seen a fox now in the woods. There's deer all of the time. They're standing in the middle of the road because there are no
yeah,
cars
yeah.
driving around. I mean, nature is surprisingly resilient.
Yes, yes, I see that.
Like 5 weeks of quietness and they're like, okay, let's go out further. I guess the humans have disappeared. I mean, I'm very happy about that.
Me too, me too. Very, very, very happy about that. It was truly inspiring, which is what you are, to speak with and to share this information and to have communication with your inspiring mind. So I want to thank you very much, Gabrielle.
Thank you, Adam. I really loved it too. It's nice to get it off your chest.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, nice speaking with you and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.